Okay, so welcome back. So in this part we'll continue with the deck structures and details. So for the four funnel base, I went ahead and put in a lot of the parts because they've been covered before. So we've got a Pontos box here, which is very similar to the deck skylights we did in part 12, and also some of the other boxes will be coming up in this video, so I didn't show it again. But it's a lot sharper than the plastic part anyway. The doors and hatch, they're all KA models. And the soldering of the doors you can see in part 13. But there's still a couple of bits to do yet. So the next thing we'll have a look at here is underneath there's two supports or stanchions. Now the kit supplies plastic parts on these, but I'm just going to go straight in and use some brass rod. So this is 1 mil and it fits in the hole perfectly. The hole's slightly bigger than 1 bit. 1 mil's good enough fit. So we need to work out how long we need to make this. So the first thing we'll do is temporarily install the part. Now hopefully you can see there's the cutouts in the deck for the stanchions. So we'll use a vernier gauge, and hopefully you're aware that it does actually have a depth stop on it and a depth gauge. So we'll just go down till it touches the deck. And I've got a reading of 10.96. We'll just try again on the other side. 10.9. So I'll just use 10.9. Now I measured the thickness of the deck without the plastic backing, and that is 0.3 mil. So we'll just record the values and then we'll have a look. So I'm going to use a value of 10.9. So that is from the top to the top of the wooden deck. But we need to subtract the thickness of the plastic, which is 1.25. So we've got 10.9 minus 1.25. So that gives us a value of, from the underside to the top of the deck, 9.65. But we need to add 0.3 because we want it to go below the deck. So that's 9.95. And then we need it to go up in through the plastic, which I've measured at 0.7. So we need to add that as well. So that comes to a value of 10.65. So that's how much we need to make the stanchions. So we just increase this until we get to 10.65, and we can go slightly under. It's 10.6. Okay, so that just gives it a bit of clearance. So I'll just lock that. We can turn this off now. And then that's how long we need to make the stanchions. So we just hold the brass rod into the jaws, and then we'll just mark slightly oversized. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. I've got a black mark on there. So we'll just use my nippers. We'll just make it a bit overlong. So I'll go in plan. This should be too big, and it is, okay? So what we want to do is we want to actually file this now. The closer you can get to cut, the less filing. Plan is, and you want to keep the ends square as well. So the plan is we'll just keep filing this and then trialing it up against the jaws. Okay? So we keep doing that until we get a sliding fit between the jaws of the gauge. And that's just fitting in. Okay. So we'll make another one of these. And that's the second one done. They should fit in the holes. I'll have to glue them, of course, but we'll come back to that because there's a couple of other things I want to show. Okay. So there's 3 ladders go on. These ones will wait until we put on the funnel base and the funnel itself. But there's one that goes on here that we can do now. So we'll just bend it I'm looking to bend it to 90 degrees. Second one's going to be a bit tricky because I'm not going to be able to hold and protect the rungs because these are too thick. Okay, so this one's bent a bit too far on this side. We just need to straighten it up. Okay, so I think I'll use super glue gel for this. So using some gel, we'll just put a wee bit on each of the legs here. And then we'll just place it down. I just went into position, not too bad. Okay, so happy with that. So we'll do the stanchions as well now. So we'll just use the microcrystal glue. I'll just put a dot in the end. The reason I'm using this is it will be easy enough, or it should be a bit flexible, so when we come to install it on the deck, we'll be able to move it slightly. Okay, so we'll just do the second one. Doesn't have to be a great deal, because once it's installed, the stanchions will be trapped between the deck and the plate anyway, so they won't be able to go anywhere. I'll just use a moistened brush to get rid of some of this excess. Again, it's not that big a deal, will never be seen, because it's underneath, plus there's so much more to go on top that you'll never ever see this. So that's that one finished for the time being. Like I say, we can fix these later, but they'll hold it enough to paint anyway. And we'll leave the two little ladders. So we'll just put this aside for the time being. So I've also went ahead and did the upper hull sides as well. So I've did these off camera. Again, there's nothing new here. So the plastic mouldings was removed, similar to the hull that we did in part 3, and then attaching the various bits and pieces that would have been done in part 8 or 9. And I've used a combination of Pontos and KA models. Okay. Okay, so the last two structures on the midships is the aft funnel base, and there's nothing to add to this other than just cleaning up sprue gates and whatnot. We also have this 4 lower cabin type thing which sits under the main superstructure, but again, there's nothing to add to it yet, or this particular part. However, as per the diagram, we do have this plate and some doors. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this. I'll prepare it anyway, and then when it comes time to fit this and the other parts that sit in front of it, I'll decide then whether I'm going to use it or not. So the foot wedge plate gets folded, and we've got some doors here. Now, what's different with this one is where the door sits fully recessed, so when you put the door in front of it or on it, it actually sits perfectly within that etched recess, which is quite a neat touch. I don't know why they've done it for this particular one, but it's actually pretty neat. So, like I say, I'll glue it up anyway. I was going to solder it thinking it sat on the surface. Since it sits in the recess, I'll just use the microcrystal clear again. Just try to get the light so it's not. That's better. I don't want to have too much because I don't want it squeezing out the sides, but I want enough to be secure. So. Yeah, far too much. Once that dries, it should be fine. So obviously I don't need to apply quite as much as I did. These fit in just so nicely. Again, just came out the sides. Made a real mess of this one. Let's try again. Sometimes modelling sessions just go perfectly, nothing lines up. Other times it's like you just struggle to do the simplest things, like glue doors. Again, like I say, I'll paint it up in that, but whether I use it, I'll decide later. So we'll bend it into 90 degrees anyway, making sure we don't touch the door side. Okay. It's not too bad. It's got a bit of flex in it, so that'll fit in perfectly. So if that was sitting on the deck, that goes like that. Oh, sorry, I think it goes more, this back edge is in line with this edge here, so it sits more like that. But we'll see. Okay, we'll start with the next bit, which is winches. There's two of them to make, and we're going to be doing some soldering. So I've put down a cork mat. I saw this or read it somewhere. It's just to protect the cutting mat from getting melted or solder or flux splashed on it. So the first thing we'll do is we'll bend up this box, which must be the winch gear or the winch mechanism. So we'll have a look, and again it looks like the two long sides fold up against the box. So we'll just start bending everything to 90 degrees. Now we'll just decide to bend up. Okay, so that's the major folds done. We just need to start tweaking it now. I'm just going to bend it at an angle just to try and square up some of the edges. Okay, we'll do this bottom bit first. Again, we'll just apply the flux. So we'll do the other end. We just need to make sure it's sitting flush inside. Again, we'll just flux this. So that's the two ends done. I'm not sure, hopefully you can see, that was the fold line there. We're left with quite a gap, which we need to try and fill up. The panel sits in between the two sides, so hopefully we can, okay, we'll squeeze that together. Just got that gap to see if we can fill now. That felt good. So what I want to show you on these boxes as well is on the fold lines, Pontos, rather than just have a line that actually remove material as well. So I really want to fill that in because it looks, doesn't look that great having gaps like that. So let's see if we can build it up with some solder, and then we can clean it back. We should be able to do 3 sides at once. Okay, I think that worked. Okay, so we'll see how that cleans up anyway. Oh, there's one at the back. I missed that one. So again, we'll just use the sander. I'll use a 600 first. Okay, so we'll just come in and do a 1200. Okay, so that's the first one done. Where we've soldered it, it's pretty sharp. Where the bends are, they weren't very, a bit rounded. I'm wondering if I folded it the wrong way, but that's okay. I'll solder up the other one now. I've already folded. I seem to have folded better, so I'm just wondering if I folded this one the wrong way around. I don't think so. That's okay. I'll solder this one, then we'll come back. Okay, so that's the second box done. I think I must have folded the first one up a bit funny because the second one came up a lot better. Maybe a little few edges still to touch up, but that's them done anyway, so we'll move on to the next step. Okay, we'll move on to the cable drum now. I want to try and solder these on. So what we do is, I need to be careful to keep the solder off the away from the holes now, because I don't want to fill them up. I'll use some solder paste, just enough around the inner surface. I think this is going to take a while because the drum's got a fair mass of brass on it. Okay, that's a flux starting to burn off now. There we go. Let's just see if that's... Yep, it's on now. So we'll do the other side. The other side's going to be trickier because the hole in the center of the gear is larger than the hole in the drum, so I have to try and keep it aligned. Again, we don't want to put in too much, just enough to hold it. Glue, super glue would be a lot quicker and easier in this case. Doesn't really need this. Okay, I can see the flux starting to... Yeah, I'm not sure if... Let's just see. I'm not sure that did work. Oh no, it's on. Okay, so we'll just let that cool for the time being. And then we'll move on to the frame. So we just need to put in a couple of 90-degree bends. So I'm always going to do it from this side, because the legs are quite thin and flimsy, so if you do it here, you've got a chance of distorting that. If we do it on this side, we can secure and protect the legs. Legs, okay. Maybe a bit more. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the drum's okay to touch now. Okay, so that's that in there. So we've just got one more bit to add on the end here. I believe this is called a warping head or a gypsy head, and that will fit into a hole on the end of the drum. Like that. I was going to try and solder that as well, but I don't think it's going to... By the time I get the heat through the head into the drum, it's going to mess up the drum end, so I don't think I'll bother. I'll just use super glue gel. Just gripping that because it's not 100% 90 now, it's a wee bit out of shape. So I can just bend it up. I'll just put that in there. Okay, that will hold it. Okay, what I'll do is I'll just get some super glue just on the end and we'll get it fitted. Okay, so that's the winch done, one more to do, pushing and pulling. So the gearbox just sits on the end. I'm not going to glue this yet because I'll be able to move it in and out a bit, and that'll give me a bit of flexibility when I come to install it. Because where it sits, there's two holes in the deck which took the plastic apart. But since I haven't filled them, I'm hoping I can cover the holes by using this in and out. So I'll leave that for the time being. Okay, since we finished the winches, we may as well doing the hose reels as well. So there's two types, 2 of this ones and 4 of the other. So I'll make one of each. They're going to be very similar to what we've already just done. So again, we'll start with this platform, our framework. And then we've got the hose drum and a couple of wheels, or a couple of ends to go in as well. So based on the hassles I had before soldering, I'm just going to use super glue. I'll just put some thins around the end there. So let's try some gel. So that's that, and then we just need to put it inside the frame. What I might do is just put a touch of super glue thin on one end because obviously we're bending the other side. So that should hold it into working. I'll just put in the center there. There we go. So just by bending it back up, it's clicked into place. So I'll just lock that again. Okay, so that was very quick and easy for that one. So it's 2 of these. Now, Pontos, I think these 2 replace 2 kit parts, and I think these are obvious where they go. The other 4, it's not clear where they go at all, but it's the same deal. We'll just put on the 2 ends. They do have some detail on them. And we've got 2 different ends on here, and they're separate ends. Okay, so you've got one with some kind of lever or something on it, and one without. And hopefully you can see there's some bolt detail here. So that flanges need to be bent out. I'll try. Okay, so you've got to bend it 90 degrees. Hopefully that's clear. So obviously bend it so the bolt detail's on top. So what we'll do is we'll just super glue one end on it. So the tricky part is gluing the other side on, because obviously they'll have to be in the same plane. Okay, so what I've done is I've just taped that back side just to keep it flat and level. And then we can come in okay, so that's the end on. All we'll do is we'll just come in with some thin, and hopefully that's locked in place. Appears to be. Okay. So there's 4 of these to do, so it now appears to be sitting nice and flat. And of course the other style which is done. So that's then done. I'll do the other one of these and the other 3 of these off camera. Okay, so the last parts we'll make is these 2 Stans skylights. And since I'm going to be soldering, as usual, we'll clean them up. So with these cleaned up, we'll now start folding them. And as you can see, but one side's the centre bit smooth, and the other side you can see the fold lines. So just going to bend them up gently initially, because we don't want to overbend them. And then we can slowly bend more and more until they're all connected. So that's the initial bends in all the parts now. So we'll just keep increasing them a bit more and a bit more until they touch. It's actually quite tricky to hold. It's actually looking not too bad. It's a bit of fine tuning in 1 or 2 of them, but this one here has got a bit of a twist in it. Okay, I think that's close enough. Hopefully you can see that. And this one here. That's better. Okay, I think it's pretty much spot on. It's actually hard to see because the brass is all shiny. It's hard to see just what's what. We'll try and solder this up now. When I was playing it out in my head, how I was going to do it, the part was a lot bigger than I imagined. So I've cut some slivers of solder because it's not going to take a great deal. I want to try and keep it right in the joint so it doesn't fill in the slats. And just apply a heat behind it. Oh, that was quick. Jeez. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see. The solder flowed through to the front, which is okay. And I'm guessing it's secure now. I'll just do one more on camera, just so you can see. Don't want to use too much flux either. I want to try and keep the flux just enough to join. Okay, so that's 2 of them done. Should be able to hold that bit a bit better now. So the part I've soldered, I can actually now grip it because it's not going to move. It's hard to show you anything. Okay, hopefully that was more visible for you. Okay, I'll finish these off. So that's them both soldered up anyway. Not too bad, I think. It's hard to tell at the moment because everything's so shiny and bright, but once we get some paint on it, we'll be able to see. Okay, so we've now got the base, and that has a ring that goes on the bottom. So I'll be also doing that as well. Yeah, I'll just flux it all around. And for this, I'll just use some solder paste. Don't need a great deal. We'll just heat this up. Okay, so with the base, the top just fits over the peg, like so. Now I'm not sure whether I'll just put some super glue thin in there or try and solder it down as well. I think I'll try and solder it. I think I'll just put soak this in flux, and I'll just flux the edge as well. Just put a sliver of solder. So that one sliver of solder on this edge has held it now. I might just do one more on the opposite side, and that should be more than enough, but just try to brush it down into the gap. Okay, I'll just see if I can clean up that solder joint. Yeah, I think I'll be... Okay, so for the second one, I might just super glue it. So I'll just put a touch of gel, some of the corners. Okay, that seems to work. And again, we'll just put that top ring on. And that's the second one. So that's everything painted and primed. But I want to revisit the funnel base because there's a few things on here that I forgot to mention. So we'll just remove the cocktail sticker. So the 2 supports, I've removed them after having a think about it, and I'll reinstall them when it comes time to fit this to the deck. The other thing we want to look at is the deck ventilators. Now you may remember I made these along with all the rest of them in part 11, but if I'd thought ahead I could have left these and installed them at the same time I made this. So I now have to go back and fit these. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some super glue gel in the corners, and that's enough to hold it hopefully. Okay. Okay. That's them done.